Welcome to Wisdom of the World. Today I'm going to tell a story from South Africa, and it's about missing your brother or sister. It is called the undying love between a brother and a sister. And it goes like this. Once upon a time in Kenya, in the mountains, a brother and sister lived together alone. Their parents had already died and they lived together. His name was Raibu and her name was Mweru. He was a handsome guy with very long hair. And he was very popular. He was a very likable boy. He was very kind and sweet. And so he had lots of friends. So one day when he came home at dusk after a visit to his friends, his sister Mweru said to him, "Please, brother, don't come home so late. Last night, a man with spears and came, and I'm afraid they're gonna come back and take me with them." This is a long time ago. And the brother said, "That will not happen." But the next day morning, he set out again. It was a lovely day to meet his friends, hang out with his friends. And Mweru, his sister, was alone at the house. And as it got dark, she became more and more afraid, and she was waiting for her brother to come home. But he didn't come home, and not home yet. And the man, many men with spears, aggressive, came into her hut. They carried her up in their arms and they took her away. And when Raibu, the brother, came home later, the hut was empty. His sister was not there. And he looked all around and he went outside and he thought he could hear the voice of his sister saying, "Oh, brother, the man have taken me away, but there is some soup in the hut for you." And he looked around, where was that voice? And he was very worried about his sister. So he set out to look for her. And he called her with his long, heavy, low voice, "Mweru, Mweru, where are you?" And the sister could hear him over the hills, but she couldn't answer him. They couldn't hear, they couldn't find each other. And the brother wandered and wandered and wandered around for days, and the days became months, and the months became years, and he still hadn't found his sister. But he kept looking. And one day he came by a big farm, and he asked the woman of the house for some food, because he was hungry and tired. And she gave him a bit of food. She wasn't quite sure what to think of him. And she said, she felt sorry for him. She said, "Do you want to spend the night?" And he accepted. He says, "Very much so." He was tired after all that walking he had done that day. So the next morning he set out to chase the birds away from the corn that was ripening. And with the son of the woman, and he threw little stones at the birds, and he says, "Fly, fly, bird, just like Mweru, who will never come back again." And when the boy was alone with his mom, he said what the stranger had said, and she ignored it. So the stranger stayed, and again the next day he said the same thing. Again the boy told his mom. And then on the third day, the mom also went to the field, to the corn. And she heard the stranger say, "Birds, birds, fly away, like Mweru, who we will never see again." And she went over to him and she looked at him, "Could you be my brother? I am Mweru. I am the sister who you were looking for." And the brother couldn't believe it. And she didn't recognize him. He had changed so much. His hair was a huge mess and his clothes were terrible. She didn't recognize him. She says, I'm going to make you beautiful like you were. And so she took him home. And she washed him and did his hair and put jewelry on him and just made him as beautiful as he always was. Now her husband, who was one of the guys who carried her away at that time, was very impressed with Wangchenaraibu. And Wangchenaraibu actually really liked it there at his sister's place. So he stayed there. He eventually, her husband built him a hut, and he fell in love with a girl from the area, and she moved in, and basically he stayed the rest of his days in his sister's household. Now, why am I telling you this story? Is that sometimes you may miss your brother or your sister. Realize how precious they really are. Go visit them, or at least give them a call. Thank you.